G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode of Sailing Quick Creations, where we're building a 46-foot John Pugh motorsailer. So this week I might have to start cleaning out one of the forward rooms in the boat, either the forward head or the forward cabin, just because I haven't been able to get a hold of any steel yet. It's a bit hard to get at the moment, certain bits and pieces. So it's coming, it's been ordered, but I've just got to wait a little bit. So I'm going to have to put along with another job at the moment, and that's going to be just cleaning out some of the other rooms like I've started on the aft cabin there. So a couple of episodes ago, one of the guys commented saying he'd love to see some of the old boats around the club, so I could show a few. Not everyone wants their boat shown on the camera, so got to be mindful of their privacy, so I'll show a couple as well. So let's get into it. So first up, we've basically got my neighbour here. It's a, I don't know what boat this is. It was an Australian built boat, aluminium hull. It's used to be a racing boat. Got its keel down here, and it's got a lot of fairing compound. Some places it's, you know, 1.5 inches thick, but it wasn't built to be strong. It was built to go fast. So it was a nice boat. This guy's tried to extend it, so it's had to cut up the front. I'm not going to comment about that, but it's been sitting there for approximately 8 to 10 years. The guy still wants to fix it up and restore it one day, but he's got other priorities at the moment. So across the road, the fishing trawler. This guy basically has got a rotted transom. He's cut it all out and he's fixing it up. He's doing a good job. That's a beautiful boat. I believe he wants to sell it once it's all finished, but he wants to get it all fixed up, make sure it's perfect before he sells it to anyone. So we got this Bernard. That's a beautiful boat. It's come out for a bit of work. It's been sitting there for a while. The guy hasn't had time to jump on it. He owns his own business, but that's a really nice boat, be comfortable in the water. So he's got to replace his front bowsprit and do a bottom job on the boat. So we've got a little fishing trawler. I have been told everything about this boat, but I forget most of what the guy told me. That is a 50-foot. It used to be a racing boat. It's done the Sydney to Hobart race, but basically there's not much left of the original boat on that one. The guy has literally replaced every single frame, every web inside, and now he's replacing all the rusty bits of steel on the outside. He's doing a beautiful job, but he's taking a bit of time. So he's got some large sections to replace. He's already done some large sections. He's built this little frame to bend his steel into the right shape. He's doing a bang up job, that guy. This is a beautiful boat. If I could afford it, I'd buy it, but it's not for sale. This is a 65-foot catamaran. So most boats aren't as long as this boat is wide. So she's a beauty, this one. That's a nice big boat. I built a trailer for it to go in and out on the boat ramp. So this is a beautiful boat. This came from South America, I believe, and it's even got like a fish tank inside the boat. This is a really old fishing trawler. Obviously that's not going to get back in the water. So this is just going to be cut up and taken to scrap metal. It's got giant rusted holes in the bottom. This is basically what's left of the boat. It does, however, have a diesel engine, a couple of bits and pieces in it. Not much left of a nail though. I was going to poke my finger in there and you see the spider web. Probably not a good idea. So there's not much left of this thing. This looks like a little 27 footer maybe. Is a Bruce Roberts, I believe. Same as that boat over there is a Bruce Roberts. However, this guy got really sick. Came down with an illness. He wanted to fix it all up, but he hasn't gotten better yet. So unfortunately, it's just decaying more. So it's all rusted out where all the stanchions go. But apparently this has done a lot of travelling around the world, this boat. Yeah, it's a shame, but hopefully it gets better and he gets back out here to work on it. This little guy's a bit funny looking. Got some foam coated in fiberglass and some deck chairs put on it. Got a solar panel. This fiberglass mold, well, the fiberglass boat would have been really nice. See how big everything is. So it looks like someone may have lived in it at some stage. They've cut a hole in it. See how thick the fiberglass is in some spots. So that's at least 2 inches thick of fiberglass. You go inside. So I'm 6 foot, and if we have a look, I could just touch the top of it, but the keel still has another 1.5 meters to go. So this boat would have been amazing. It's got some walls put in here. Looks like someone had this as a room maybe. They put floorboards on the ground. So it looks like someone lived in here at some point. But it would have been a big boat. It's got to be at least 6.5 meters wide. So you can see that the fiberglass didn't layer up very well. It's like peeling off in sections. So there's one layer, there's another layer. So it wasn't laid up very well. This boat came out a few weeks back. That's going to have an osmosis treatment put on it. It's another beautiful 50 footer. I haven't been up inside that one yet, but from what the owner tells me, it's got beautiful like woodwork all throughout the boat, professionally done. A nice roller furling mainsails on both. This one is getting cut up and put in the bin. I think the owner hasn't paid his bills for a long time, but they're getting in touch with him to get it out of here and get the scrap metal bin to come get it. But they've replaced some big bits of steel, replaced this big piece, a couple of little pieces here or there, so a couple of little bits. There's a little hole down there. But basically with this boat, the guy's come, he's taken everything valuable out of it. He took the lead weights, the lead ballast out of the keel, and he's just abandoned it. So that one is going to go to the scrap metal bin. This trimaran's getting cut up. It's been there for 17 years and it hasn't progressed as far as basically putting it together. So it's all rotted now. It's a nice looking boat. I don't know anything about that one, but very nice looking. So this Bruce Roberts was for sale when I was looking for a boat. The guy wanted too much, in my opinion, but he thinks it's worth what it is, and it may do. It's not for me to say, but it needs a fair bit of work. The longer it sits there, the more work it needs. But that's a 45-foot Bruce Roberts, another Australian designer. So lots of corrosion up in all the corners. Yeah, this is a nice old wooden boat. This would be a good project for someone. Unfortunately, a lot of the wood is a little bit soft, but it's got some beautiful brassware on it. So that could be a really nice looking boat. All the caulking's coming out down the bottom. It's a shame. So in the sail locker, and it's going to be the same cleanup we do in all the other spots. Got all these to grind off. So he was up here. Not going to go as crazy. I won't be insulating and lining this room, but in here will be where the chains will come down. I know someone did mention that you want the chains as low as possible. So where the original design was, the chains will be in that locker. We're moving the chains from being up that high and bringing them down to here, which is not so bad. It's still very much forward, but being such a big boat, and I've got access to marine architects, they've advised me that they'll do the calculations and will ballast out the weight distribution later on. So we're just going to keep track of what's going where, and the ballast in the aft end will be calculated to the ballast at the front. So looking here, we have a platform there. This door is getting welded up, so that will be gone. I'll try and do that a little bit last because it's just nicer going in and out while I'm building. But the coaming will have to be cut out, and there'll basically be like storage and a ladder going down. There'll be a workbench in a corner, possibly a generator at some point in here. If I can afford it and do it, I'm going to put a bow thruster below the waterline. So there's a bit of work to do in here. So we'll start cleaning up. Well, the day's coming to an end, but before I go, I just wanted to quickly rinse the walls down with just some normal pressured water, and just see where the water drains so that I know what work I have when I come back. Alright, I've got one of my little spotlights on so we can see a bit better, but let's see how it drained. You can see one side's drained perfectly, the other side is full of water. Let me get into a better position. So you can see there's a proper member hole right down the bottom, nothing on this side, water in here. water in here. There's a hole there for drainage, which is great. There's a hole on this side for drainage, which is great. I didn't even notice them before. They have filled up these corners with that cement stuff, but this one has actually gone off, so that's actually great too. This side's filled, but it looks like this side, you can see, it may not have bonded. Yeah, that hasn't bonded like the other side, so to take that one off. But yeah, one side, no drain. So we'll have to work on that bit. Clean these ends up so that they don't rust out. But not bad. So not much work left to do in here. Just a bit of grinding, address the little limber holes, and a couple of little spots in the corners we can do a bit better. This one seems perfect. Not so much this side. So, not bad. So, just because that's a very small area and it's not going to take me too long, we might look at doing the head as well. Look how dirty this is. 20 odd years of dirt built up in here. So, might do this area too. But that's going to have to wait till next time. So, I'll see you guys in a couple of days. So I'm down at the boat again for my second day. I've been doing a bit of poking around on all those drainage. You know, one side drained properly, the other didn't. So it looks like what's happened is they blasted this boat and they didn't clean up that little corner down there. So what's happened is the garnet's just pulled in the corner. When they painted over the top of the garnet. So after poking it a little bit, you can sort of see, from this side, some sandy with garnet. So you might be able to see that the paint's gone over the top and that it's just pink garnet underneath from when they originally blasted the boat. They didn't clean it up and it's just piled in there and just sprawled paint over the top of it. So it's the same in a few other little bits and pieces, hard to get spots. Even in that little world in the corner there, just a bit of garnet. So it's a matter of just getting in all those corners, maybe with an air chisel, and just take out all that old paint and garnet that's been painted over the top, and we're good to go. I was thinking I might have to plasma cut in there, and you know, that's not going to be a nightmare getting into that little corner. But it turns out it's just a big pile of garnet, so it's actually easier for me to clean up. That's most of the hard work done in the sail locker. All the spots are now ground. Now we've still got to get in with a chisel to do the drains. But that's most of all the cleaning done on that room. So it's going to leave attacking this door for now, because while I'm refitting in there, I want to be able to get in and out easy instead of having to climb through that hatch each time. So when I come to refitting this room, I'm looking at having a bench go in this corner. There'll be a generator down here and the anchor locker there. So there'll be little bits and pieces for storage, but that's about it. So that's going to be a nice easy room to finish off. I might put the floor back in for now. And we're going to start on this room. This will be the forward head. Well, I finished doing the basic cleanup, and we vacuumed all these up so we've got no more crap everywhere. The bottom's all done. So one thing I noticed while cleaning up is that these little stringers haven't quite been welded in properly. So if I kick it, like, she moves. So she's not quite welded down properly. So we'll have to get a few extra tacks on that one and just check all the others while we're at it. But I think it's time to give her a rinse down and see where the water goes. Not draining all that quickly, but it is draining. So unfortunately they've painted this black bit with this tar paint, so I want to get all that up. So very rough, it's just everything just sticks to it, so I'm going to get all that up. That's all got to be sandblasted off and painted in a bilge coat. They have put drain holes here, doesn't seem to be one working on that side, so there are small drain holes in each web, which is good. But they're not quite draining well enough, so we'll have to open them up a bit. So next step will be grinding all those lugs off, and then maybe bringing the plasma cutter in to open up all the webs. So let's get to it. Alright, I finished all the grinding, got all the little spots done like I've done in the other rooms, and So all the walls are nice and neat now. There's still a couple of little jobs left to do before we get onto some of the bigger ones, and that would be this coaming is still attached. So at some point someone's cut the door out from here, had one of those round doors just like this one. They had it here, which is actually good because where this wall finishes now, where the new door is actually where I want our door to be. So it's in the spot I want it to be in anyway. But they've left this little nub here. That needs to come off. It's encroaching into this space. So I'm going to cut that off. And then we're going to have to bring the plasma cutter in, open up some of the holes for drainage. So that's all the grinding done. I didn't realise until I stopped grinding that the bad weather has just rolled in. So we've got some rain clouds, the water's starting to come in. So it's really windy. So I've got all the grinding done. I've got both these rooms all cleaned up and all prepped. I had to grind the windows because we had the welds that come up. Had to grind the welds back so that when we put the windows on there, they'll press up against the hull. I've still got a little bit of welding to do. You can sort of see holes in the windows. So when I bring the welder in, I've got that bar to weld, a couple of holes, but also all this. So there's a bit of work to do there. So we'll leave the welder for another time. But we've got both these rooms done this week, which is nice. And we'll continue on next week, hopefully with the hard dodger. So we've still got a bit of work to do there. When they get the steel, I've got to replace all these panels and shorten this door. Is going to come in a little bit and then build the hard dodger over the top. So still lots of work to do. That's all I got time for this week, but before I go, I thought I'd show you how beautiful the water is.